I'd just say if you're looking in the market for a feeder, I'd definitely consider Siloking. They're, in my opinion, one of the top of the tubs. Very easy to use. You could show anyone within 5 minutes how to drive it, and it really complements grass in the springtime when cows get out. I feel a lot of cows in this country are maybe a little underfed when it comes to this time of the year, but the consistency in the diet that gives is massive. My name is Melvin Masterson from Rathnure in Enniscorthy. We're milking about 130 cows, Holstein type cows mainly. I'm scanning cows for about 5 years now, and 2 years ago I got approval for an embryo transfer license, so I'm now based here flushing cows for people and for ourselves, and I've invested a lot of money into Holstein genetics, and between diet and genetics I think it's the two quickest ways you can improve the cows in your herd and the profitability of the cow. You know, there's cows here doing up to 13,000 litres and there's still cows doing 7, so it's a big difference, and we're trying to push them on. But we dried off the best cow there last week and she'd done I think 13,500, nearly 1,000 kilos of solids. So 3 years ago we bought the Siloking. We didn't have a feeder before that, and we looked at all the makes really, paddle feeders and tubs, and demoed a few, and that was the second tub we demoed, and it just done everything we wanted it to do. We were feeding a lot of bales at that time and it just ate those up. So we're feeding every day of the year now, and buffer feeding all summer because we kind of get hit by droughts here a good bit, so it kind of keeps the consistency in the diet. I do a good bit of feeding, or my brother also does the feeding, so it's great in that the diet's consistent every day. You know, even if I'm rushing off, you can put the soy and stuff in the night before and feed. You seen this morning we fed the milkers there in about 15 minutes. You know, it really does cut down on time. And the big thing when I was buying it was I wanted it big enough. Some salesmen were trying to sell me single rotor tubs, and I just felt I'd be stuck at some point if we went up in cow numbers doing 2 mixes a day. And at the minute there, we do 1 mix for the milkers and feed dry cows every second day. So then dry cows, milkers obviously have to be fed first thing. With dry cows, you shove it in and you can do them during the day when the pressure's off a little bit, you know. I suppose I tried to demo a paddle feeder and they wouldn't demo it, they wanted to sell it to me. And I then demoed another tub, and we put, I think it was 3 or 4 bales. I had them open in the yard and put them into the other make a tub, and it just threw them back out over the side. It wasn't physically able to cope with them, and done the same with that feeder, and it was no problem. And when you look at the feeder and see the steel that's in it, it's what am I saying? We're nearly 1,000 days solid feeding done with it, and it's essentially like a new feeder still. I like the controls. It's all kind of through Bluetooth, yeah, and once it's handy. You're not pressing different spool valves wondering is this one for that, or if someone plugs the pipes in differently, it doesn't matter. It's all through the control box, and I love having it. My eyesight's not great from the scanner, and with the one in the loader when you're feeding, even if you're at the pit and you forget how much you have, you still know. I love that now in comparison to a screen dial on the feeder. Sure, you see there you can kind of just come in on any angle, and I'd often get the soy and just come in behind it and back up. No, it's very convenient to feed. Same with dry cow mixes there. We were feeding large square bales of straw now, so the mix is 1 full bale of squares. So there's about 600 kilos in that, and I just drop in the full bale and it just no problem to it. I suppose definitely with the dry cow mix is probably as important as the milker mix. Like since we got the feeder, we haven't had a DA. The odd case of milk fever, but that's tweaking the diet fixes that. You know, it'd be very hard with the level of slurry we spread on our silage ground to go back to not feeding a mix with straw for your dry cows, because you'd just be plagued with milk fever. The first 2 years we fed beet, so I just put the beet in. Some people said the diet feeder wouldn't chop beet, but I tried it and just put it in the high box for about 5 minutes, and it chops any amount of beet you want. And then just add your ingredients after. So yeah, it's very capable of feeding beet. We've fed brewers' grains here, barley, maize meal, anything you want. You know, it will mix it. Again, during the summer for the buffer feed, it's only feeding a very small amount, maybe 1.5 tons a day. But if you just put it in the high box, it'll just mix that perfectly. You know, it is well fit to do small mixes as well. Sure, every day I know the mix now inside out, and kind of as cows calve, I just increase it by however many cows have calved. But it's every day the mix comes out the same. It's no lumps. The only way you get lumps in the mix is if you overmix it. 5 minutes after you're finished putting in your last ingredient, just go with your mix and it's ready. And it's very, with the conveyor, it feeds out so fast. You'll see that yourself there even today. It's just, you need to actually put your foot down when you're driving compared to a side door which is putting it out in lumps. But I really like the conveyor. It leaves about 200 kilos and just flick it into the high box then and it'll bring it right down to empty. If you looked in it there now, there wouldn't be one scrap. I'm really happy with the Siloking feeder. I just found it's really helped us drive on our production here.
When farming means business,